Okay, good morning everyone. Last day you have asked to solve the zeta sum of cos omega naught n un. So check the solution now. Xn equal to cos omega naught n un. That you cannot solve. See, as you need to calculate xk or xz, first thing is that you have to replace cos omega naught n by exponential term. You can write down cos omega naught n is equal to half e to the power j omega naught n plus e to the power minus j omega naught n. That you can write. Then obviously exit will be summation of n equal to, as you have un, so obviously it will vary from 0 to infinite, not minus infinite to infinite. Due to un, minus infinite to minus 1 will be cancelled out, as all the values will be 0 for that range. So n will be varying from 0 to infinite, and it will be this part, half of e to the power j omega naught n plus e to the power minus j omega naught n. I am writing down this part by two different summation, by taking half of e to the power j omega naught n one summation and half of e to the power minus j omega naught n in the another summation. So it will be, half will be in the outside, e to the power j omega naught n into z to the power minus n, that is 1, plus for the second case half n equal to 0 to infinite e to the power minus j omega naught n into z to the power minus n. So obviously n equal to 0 to infinite, if we make common n, e to the power j omega naught multiplied by z to the power minus 1 to the power n plus half, same thing here, e to the power minus j omega naught into z to the power minus 1 n. So that format is summation of a z inverse whole to the power n, that is equal to 1 by 1 minus a z inverse. So it will be, half will be there, 1 by 1 minus e to the power j omega naught z inverse, plus this is also half of 1 by 1 minus e to the power minus j omega naught z inverse. Now what you have to do, you have to add these two and you have to do some calculation to get a proper value. And ROC will be, you can calculate from here or from here. ROC will be what? That term 1 minus e to the power j omega naught into z inverse must be greater than 0. Okay, must be greater than it. And that condition you can consider also, you can consider that condition also for this case also, 1 minus e to the power minus j omega naught z inverse, that condition also you can consider. So here to calculate the ROC you can consider the both the cases. For the first case, what will happen? I think mod z, that will be less than mod e to the power j omega naught. And already I have told you that mod of e to the power j omega naught is 1. Mod means the real value, not the complex value. The real value of e to the power j omega naught is 1. So mod z will be less than 1. You can check it. For this case also, you will get the same value. Because mod z, in this case, you will get greater than mod of e to the power minus j omega naught. And in the same way, the value of minus j omega naught, real value, will also be 1. Because minus j omega naught gives you cos omega naught minus j sin omega naught. So mod of that value will be cos omega naught square root of cos omega naught square plus sin omega naught square. So 1. Now just you need to solve that part by doing some calculations. You can solve it like just here should be a half. Just make half common and add both the part. So what will be? Simply 1 minus e to the power j omega naught z inverse, that is first case. Second, 1 minus e to the power minus j omega naught z inverse, that is your second case. So in the upper side it will be 1 minus what will be 1 minus e to the power minus j omega naught e to the power minus j omega naught z inverse and plus 1 minus e to the power j omega naught z inverse. Now you can remove all the inverse value for your solution purpose. To remove all the inverse value, just multiply both sides by z square. You can check it because the maximum power of inverse is square. If you multiply this and this z and this z, it will be square. So multiply both upper and lower part or numerator denominator by z square. You will get z square minus e to the power j omega naught into z plus z square, and that is minus e to the power j omega naught into z, and numerator z square minus what will be the value z into e to the power j omega naught minus z into e to the power minus j omega naught plus I think it will be 1. You can check it. If we if we multiply, and it will be that value. So it will be 2z square it will be 2z square, and if we make z common from these two, minus z common, it will be e to the power j omega naught plus e to the power minus j omega naught, and from here that is z square minus again z common, so e to the power j omega naught minus e to the power minus j omega naught. So the value, and there is a 1 plus 1. So what will be the value? E to the power, yeah, in the denominator part it will be 2 cos omega naught, that will be 2 cos omega naught, and that will be 2 2 sin omega naught. Denominator will be plus. Okay, we are taking the minus common, so it will be plus. Thank you. So both will be 2 cos omega naught. So result will be half of 2z square minus z into 2 cos omega naught and z square minus z into 2 cos omega naught plus 1. So make 2 common, 2 will be cancelled out. So final result will be, and okay, final result will be z square minus z into cos omega naught, and numerator z square minus z into uh, that will be 2z cos omega naught plus 1. So that will be your result. Okay, so that is your exact, where ROC is mod z greater than equal to 1. So that is all. So if this is clear, come to the inverse z transform part. From inverse z transform, if you have any question about the partial fraction expansion, then xz is given as 1 minus z inverse plus z to the power minus z to the power minus 2, and 1 minus half z inverse, that is first one, 1 minus 2 z inverse, that is the second one, and 1 minus z inverse, that is the third one. That is the problem given. You have to calculate xn, where ROC given 1 mod z 2. That is your ROC. Okay. So depending on that, you have to calculate xn. So for this case, just I am showing another one example. After that, you have to do it by your own. So just make it clear. First of all, what you have to do, you have to check whether n greater than m or not. The value of n is, if you multiply these three, z to the power minus 3 will come. So value of n is 3 and value of m is 2. So obviously n greater than m. First case satisfied. Second case, a equal to 1 or not, a not equal to 1 or not. See, here the values are given in the form of poles. So whenever the values are given in the form of poles, that means it is already considered a not equal to 1. Okay, so if the values are given in the format of poles, so you don't need to consider a not equal to 1. It is already considered. So the condition satisfied, then what will be your exit? Just remove, yes, n value means the maximum power of numerator. Okay, if we multiply all if we multiply all the three values, that is in the multiplication format. So the maximum power value will become this z inverse multiplied by this z inverse multiplied by this z inverse. So 3z inverse is multiplied means it will be z to the power minus 3. So that will be your maximum value. If we multiply other values, that is, you can multiply z inverse to 1. If we multiply 1 to that 1, but any other value if you multiply, you will not get z to the power minus 3. Only you will get z to the power minus 3 when, yes, sorry. Power will come the minus 3 and the z to the power minus 2 will also come. We will take the only the value, not the minus part. If it is minus 3, that means n equal to 3. If it is minus 2, then n equal to 2, like that. Okay. So z's power, maximum power is here, z to the power minus 3. That means the value of n is 3. Z to the power minus 2 is the power of denominator. So the value of m is 2. So obviously n is greater than m. So satisfied. So next step is you have to remove all the inverse. To remove that, what you have to do? As the maximum power of n is 3, so you have to multiply both sides by z to the power 3. Both sides you have to numerator and denominator you have to multiply by z to the power 3. If we do that, one z will be multiplied by here, one z will be multiplied to here, and another z will be multiplied to here. So numerator will be z minus half is the first one, z minus 2 that is the second one, and z minus 1 that will be the third one, and it will be z to the power 3 minus z square plus z. So three poles you are getting, P1 half, P2 2, and P3 1. These are the three poles. So from here, next you need to write it down in the format xz by z. So you are making z common from the denominator. So the value will be z square minus z plus 1, and z minus half, z minus 2, z minus 1. So that is your xz by z. So now in the partial fraction format you have to write it. So xz by z in the partial format will be a1 by the first z minus first pole half plus a2 z minus second pole plus a3 z minus third pole. So that is the partial fraction format, and you have to calculate values of a1, a2, a3. Values of, I am writing down again the formula. Values of ak is defined as z minus pk xz by z, where the value of z will be pk. So if pk equal to 1, or if k equal to 1, then a1 equal to z minus p1 xz by z, where z equal to p1. Value of p1 is half. So replace all the p1 by half. So it will be what? Z minus half multiplied by xz by z, that is that value, z square minus z plus 1, z minus half, z minus 2, z minus 1. So z minus half will be cancelled out, where z equal to half. So replace the values z by half. If you replace that, I think if you solve it, you will get the value a1 equal to 1. You can check it. I am not solving that part. If we put z equal to half, you will get a1 equal to 1. In the same way, you will get a2 equal to 2 and a3 equal to minus 2. You should check that three conditions. Okay. So just replace a1, a2 and a3 with their corresponding value 1, 2 and minus 2. So if we replace that, xz by z will be, first value is 1, so 1 by z minus half, then a2 is 2, so plus 2 into 1 by z minus 2, second value is minus 2, so it will be minus 2 into 1 by z minus 1, that is your xz by z. Xz will be, if we make z to that side, and if we write the z in the inverse form, so it will be 1 by 1 minus half z inverse plus 2 into 1 by 1 minus 2 z inverse minus 2 into 1 by 1 minus z inverse. So directly from here, xn we can write, that will be your half to the power n, plus that will be your 2 into 2 to the power n, minus that will be your 1 to the power n. Now after that you have to check the ROC. That is the important part. To check the ROC, first you have to draw that ROC. That will be your real z, that will be your imaginary z. So ROC is in between 1 and 2. So draw two circles, 1 and 2. That is one value, that is two value. So ROC will be in between that. So that will be your ROC, considering the condition. Now, depending on that ROC, if we need to write the result, you have to put all the poles you have got over the ROC. So poles you have got are half, 2 and 1. So one pole will be, here. If this is 1, that will be your half. Another pole is 1, so obviously it will be here 1, and another pole is 2, that will be here 2. So these are the three poles. Clear? I am just putting the three poles over the ROC. Now you have to check the system causality depending on the poles. So if we consider half, the pole half, the system is causal or anti-causal? For half, the system is causal. As for half, the system is causal. For this pole system is causal, it will be UN. For 1, it is also causal, so it will also be UN. And for 2, anti-causal, as it is in the right, the pole is in the right side of the ROC. So for 2 it will be anti-causal, and for anti-causal that will be multiplied by minus of u minus n minus 1. So that should be your final result. Okay, so final result will have xn equal to half to the power n un minus 2 un, these two cases, plus 2 to the power n multiplied by 2, it will be 2 to the power n plus 1, and that minus if we consider, so that plus will be minus u of minus n minus 1. So that will be your result considering to that ROC condition. So just write down to home task. Hz is given as 3 minus 4z inverse by 1 minus 3.5 z inverse plus 1.5 z to the power minus 2. That is your hz. You have to calculate hn, where the conditions are given. First condition is system will be causal and unstable. For the first condition, you have to write down the result Hn in such a way that Hn defines causal and instability. Second is system must be non-causal and stable. And third is anti-causal and unstable. So you have to write down 3 Hn value depending on 3 conditions. That 3 conditions will be satisfied by that 3 Hn value. So that is your partial fraction expansion method. Next method is the residue method. You have to solve, or you have to calculate the time domain sequence from the frequency domain by using residue method. What do you mean by residue? Residue means a small part of anything. If we consider a total circle, residue means a small part of anything, considering after doing any operation. Suppose you are doing any operation over that, and after completing the operations, you are getting a small part remaining. So that small part is called residue. Sometimes তোরা ছোটবেলায় ডিভিশন করেছিস, সাপোজ 5 11, so that is 10 1, that 1 is your residue. Okay, so any operation you are doing over a sequence, and after doing the operation the remaining part you are getting is called the residue. So in residue method, if you want to do the Z transform, you have to calculate the residues for each and every poles. First you need to calculate in the same way in the partial fraction expansion you have calculated the pole. So for this case also, first you have to calculate each and every poles, and depending on each and every pole you have to calculate the residues, and the result will be the addition of all the residue. Means if xz is given, xz is given, and you have got pole z minus p1, z minus p2, residue will be result xn will be the residue value for pole p1 plus residue value for pole p2. That will be your result. So that is the format of residue method. Now you need to know how to calculate those residues. If you can do that, so your problem will be solved. Clear what is residue? Generally, whenever you are doing the inverse Z transform, you can directly calculate xn from xz by using a integral method. Means it is called the, or better, circular integral method. As after Z transform, the value of xz you are getting depending on a circle. So from xz, if you want to calculate xn, you have to do the integration, and that integration will be dependent on circular integration. It will be just, you need to know the formula, that is not much important. That is circular integration z to the power n minus 1 into xz dz. If you can do that, you can calculate xn. And if you want to use the residue method in spite of using that equation, just you need to consider that part, z to the power minus z to the power n minus 1 xz, and that part is defined as fz. Keep in mind, fz equal to z to the power n minus 1 into xz. If we consider that part for residue method, we don't need to consider the total formula. We don't need to consider the total formula because that is very complicated formula to solve, so you don't need to consider that. So you know the value of fz. Now you have to calculate the residue for each and every pole depending on fz by using that formula. Residue of fz, suppose for pole pk, that k value may be 1, 2, 3, any integer, that will be 1 by m minus 1 factorial d to the power m minus 1 by d z to the power m minus 1 multiplied by z minus pk whole to the power m into fz, where the value of z equal to pk. Just write down the formula, then I am explaining. Okay, see here, obviously pk defines the poles when k equal to 1, consider these two example. When k equal to 1, so you need to consider that pole. When k equal to 2, you need to consider that pole. In that way, p1 p2 you will get, and 1 by m minus 1 factorial, that m defines that power of any pole. Whenever you are considering p equal to 1, the first pole, so fz for pole 1, here the power of m will be 2. So value of m you need to write 2 for each and every case. But when you are using the second pole, the power of m is 1. So you need to write the value of m as 1 for each and every case. Clear? See, for the second case, the power is 1 for each and every poles. So value m equal to 1 for each and every poles, each and every cases. So keep in mind, if we replace the value m by 1, the formula becomes 1 by 1 minus 1 factorial. Factorial 1 minus 1 defines 1 by 1 minus 1 factorial d to the power 1 minus 1 dz to the power 1 minus 1 multiplied by z minus pk to the power 1 fz where z equal to pk. That condition you are getting when the value of m is 1. So here 1 minus 1 factorial defines you the value 1. So this value is 1. D to the power 0 by dz to the power 0. That value is also 1. So just keep in mind, if you don't have any power in the poles, means whenever you have the value m equal to 1, the formula becomes residue of fz or pk equal to z minus pk as m equal to 1 fz, where z equal to pk. So you can use for this formula directly if the value of m equal to 1. If the value of m is not equal to 1, then you need to write down the total formula. So obviously whenever you will do the example part, it will be more clear to all of you. So come to an example. Suppose xz is given as z inverse 1 minus 0.25 z inverse plus 0.375. You have to calculate xn. No ROC are given. Keep in mind, ROC not given. So obviously, first step is you need to calculate the poles. For that, just remove. Sorry, you should have to the power minus 2. So first thing is that you have to remove all the poles. Sorry, you have to remove all the negative power of z. So for that case, you have to multiply it by the maximum value of z power, that is z square. So it will be z square minus 0.25 z plus 0.375. And if we calculate the pole, it will be z minus 0.75 and z plus 0.5. So poles are P1 equal to 0.75 and P2 equal to minus 0.5. These are two poles. Okay. Now, as ROC is not given, so you have to consider the range from minus infinity to infinity. Within that range, any value you may get. Now, for your solution purpose, you have to split that two range by two part. One is the causal part, and another is the anti-causal part. For causal part, the range will be 0 to infinite. All of you know un, and for anti-causal part, it will be minus infinite to minus 1. Okay, so you have to split the example in two part. That means first you have to calculate the value of all the residues for causal cases, and second, considering the anti-causal cases, again you have to calculate the values of residues. Clear or not? It is clear or not? I think clear. Okay, so first consider the causal case. Suppose the system is causal, then we will consider the anti-causal case. The first case, the system is causal. If the system is causal, then what will be the value of fz? Value of fz is, already I have told you, z to the power n minus 1 into xz. Z to the power n minus 1 into xz, your value of fz. So obviously z to the power n minus 1, that will be multiplied by z minus 0.75 and z plus 0.5. So it will be z to the power n minus 1 multiplied by z, it will be z to the power n. So that is your fz, and the poles are 0.75 and minus 0.5. So I have considered the system is causal. Value of n should be within the range 0 to infinite, as the system is causal. So if we consider the range 0 to infinite, you will get two poles. So for these two poles, you have to calculate the residue. So residue of fz, that you need to calculate. Suppose for the first pole 0.75. So you will calculate residue of fz for 0.75, and you can check it that for the first pole the power is 1, so you don't need to consider all the formula. Just z minus pk, that is 0.75 multiplied by fz. Value of fz is this one, z to the power n, z minus 0.75, z plus 0.5, where z equal to 0.75. That is your first case to calculate the residue. So z minus 0.75 will be cancelled out. If we replace z equal to 0.75, so it will be 0.75 whole to the power n, and 0.75 plus 0.5, it will be 1.25. 1.25, if we make fraction, it will be 1.25, and finally it will be 4 by 5, 0.75 whole to the power n. You can check it by putting the z value 0.75. You will get 4 by 5 into 0.75 whole to the power n. Okay, you are getting or not? I'm not getting any answer from your side. You are getting? Okay. Okay, thank you. So that is your the first residue value for the first pole. Now you have two poles, so you will have two residues values. For the second residue value will be fz for minus 0.5, that is your second pole. So it will be, again, the value of m is 1, so it will be z plus 0.5 multiplied by fz, so z to the power n, z minus 0.75 and z plus 0.5, where z equal to minus 0.5. So this and this again will be cancelled out. Replace minus 0.5, so it will be minus 0.5 whole to the power n. It will be minus 0.5 whole to the power n, and if we replace minus 0.5, it will be minus 1.25 again. So it will be minus 4 by 5 and minus 0.5 whole to the power n. So these are the two residues. If you got these two residues, so your result will be, keep in mind we have considered the system is causal, so your result will be xn equal to addition of these residues. So 4 by 5, 0.75 whole to the power n, and we have considered that the system is causal. So for causality, un. Second case is minus 4 by 5. Yes. Okay, residue for 0.75. Okay. So just first let me write down the answer, then I'm again showing you. So 0.5 whole to the power n. Again, this is causal, so un. So when the system is causal, that will be your result. Keep in mind, I have not considered the anti-causal part till now. So that is not your final result. The result when the system is causal. Okay. Now again, I am showing the residue for 0.75. How you are getting the 4.5? Yeah, 4 by 5. Sorry. 0.75 for residue 0.75, z minus 0.75 from the formula multiplied by fz. এখন কে জয়েন করছে? জানে না নাকি যে ঠিক আছে জয়েন করুক। Okay, z minus 0.75 multiplied by that fz, So fz is z to the power n z minus 0.75 by z plus 0.5, that is your fz, where the value of z equal to 0.75. Is that clear na? Then that is cancel out. Yeah, so that is cancel out and that is cancel out. What we are doing, we are simply replacing z by 0.75. So what will it be? 0.75 whole to the power n, and that is 0.75 plus 0.5. 0.75 plus 0.5. So it will be 1.25 in the numerator, and if we write it in the fraction form, it will be 5 by 4 in the numerator. If we change it, it will be 4 by 5. That means 1 by 1.25 is 4 by 5 and multiplied by 0.75. That is your result. Okay. Hmm. So just write it down. I'm not writing it down. Keep in mind that when the system is causal, you are getting that value. No, I'm removing that part. Just keep it in mind. Now consider the system is anti-causal. Anti-causal means the n value should be within the range minus infinity to minus 1. For this case, fantasy is that you don't need to consider the total range. You need to consider the value of n minus 1, minus 2, minus 3, like that. First case, you will consider the value of n minus 1. And for that case, you will calculate the residues. If the addition of all the residues become 0, so your solution will be stopped there, because if you get residues value 0 due to the value of n, that means after that you will not get any value. Not clear what I have told you? It's not clear to all of you, I know. Just follow the example, it will be clear. Simply again, you have the fz, and this called the system is anti-causal. For that case, range is minus infinity to minus n. So first we will consider n equal to first value minus 1. So if n is minus 1, that z value will be z to the power minus 1. So if z value is z to the power minus 1 and that part is same, so what will happen? Z will come to the downside, and finally it will become, for n equal to minus 1, that will be considered equal to minus 1. So what is happening? For n equal to minus 1, instead of 2 poles, you are getting 3 poles. You are getting 3 poles. For z minus 0, that is another pole. So the poles are P1 equal to 0, P2 equal to 0.75, and P3 equal to minus 0.5. So 3 poles you are getting if we consider the value n equal to minus 1. Similarly, if we consider n equal to minus 2, it will be z square, that is z minus 0 square. Keep in mind. So that 3 pole will remain same, but due to the square value, you need to consider the m also. So that is the second case. Simply you will consider the first case, that is n equal to -1. For this case, that is your result. You are getting 3 poles where the value of m is 1. So for 3 poles, you will get 3 residues. So first residue is residue of fz. For the first pole 0, m equal to 1, so z minus 0. Yes, yes. Okay, I have written z. Actually, z comes out in the downside now. Z and z minus 0 is the same. If in the numerator you are getting z, that means the pole of z is 0. Okay, because z minus 0.75, pole is 0.75. So here z means z minus 0, where the pole is 0. Both are same now. To define the pole, I am writing z as z minus 0. So for the first pole, 0, value will be z minus 0 into fz. Here the value of fz is 1, z minus 0, z minus 0.75, z plus 0.5, where z equal to 0. As the pole is 0, so z will be 0. So z cancel out. Put all the z 0, so it will be 1 by minus 0.75 multiplied by 0.5, and if you calculate it, the value will be minus 2.66. Okay, this is the first residue value. Similarly, you have to calculate the residue of fz for the second pole, that is 0.75. That value will be similarly z minus 0.75 multiplied by 1 by z minus 0, z minus 0.75, z plus 0.5, where z equal to 0.75. So again this and this will be cancelled out. Replace the value of z by 0.75. It will be 1.06. You can check it. And the third residue of fz for minus 0.5, if you calculate, it will be z plus 0.5 fz, that is 1 by z minus 0, z minus 0.75, z plus 0.5, where z equal to z equal to minus 0.5. So 0.5 will cancel out. Again you will replace the value of z by minus 0.5, and if you solve it, it will be value will be 1.6. Value will be 1.6. So xn will be what? Addition of these three residue. As n equal to minus 1, so obviously x minus 1, value of x minus 1 will be addition of these three residue, and if you add up, you can see minus 2.66 plus 1.06 plus 1.6, it will give you 0. If we add up these three, it will give you 0. So value of x of minus n will be 0. value of xn, x of minus n will be 0. That means what? That means for the negative values of n, you will always get 0. First value you are getting 0 means all the values you will get 0, because it's a sorry, it's a continuous part. But 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all the values you will get. Similarly, for in the negative term, 0, minus 1, minus 2, minus 3, minus 4, for each and every case you should have some value. If you don't have, then the other remaining values will also be 0. Keep in mind. So for n equal to minus 1 you are getting 0 means for n equal to minus 2 you will get 0. For n equal to minus 3, minus 4 up to n equal to minus infinity, all the values of x you will get 0. That means what? That means the system is not an anti-causal. So simply the system is not anti-causal, the system is completely causal system, and the result is whatever the result you have got for causal case, that is xn equal to 4 by 5, 0.75 whole to the power n minus 0.5 whole to the power n even. So that is your result for the given problem. I think